Hello, everybody! I'm getting worse and worse at recording things in time. Anyway, today's topic is on using root barriers for growing zones. So, I've had an issue with grass growing in there and basically choking out plants like these passion vines. So, it was a struggle to find new shoots, and they were not very happy. There's still some pieces of grass that I need to remove, but it's much better than before. And I'm getting some nice growth on the branches that managed to overwinter. It takes me about a day to put a small barrier down, or a big one like this took me a week, mostly due to my health. Another issue that I didn't predict was that once I removed the grass, some plants really weren't happy about the loss of all that organic matter that was protecting them from the sun. A lot of plants got stressed when I started removing the grass. I mean, even this lavender. You know how lavender survives drought? Yeah, this lavender was looking on the brink of death. Here's what I can make in a day. Not removing the grass, that took more time, but just putting a barrier takes me a day. Now, is it worth it? Well, I hope so. I'm just hoping that grass and stuff will not come in there. That way I can create some small growing areas beneath my trees where I can grow herbaceous stuff. Here's another one I made. Now, because it takes time to put down such barriers and even more time to pull out all the grass and sift through the dirt, this is all full of grass roots and it's gonna resprout if I don't remove them. I actually did make some last year with those root barriers, some growing zones. For the most part, it worked. I haven't seen any raspberries growing in there. They never managed to go through this barrier, which is about 20 centimeters deep. However, we have grasses that have seeded themselves in there, strawberries that climb over the barrier, as well as this. It has very deep roots, so I was not able to pull them out and it regrew. A few dandelions as well. So sure, it looks very nice when you first make them. There's nothing in there but the plants you want. But if you don't keep up with the upkeep, like I did here, well, you kind of get invaded by strawberries and grass and whatever else manages to seed itself in there. This is a square that I made last year, and while it did keep the rhizomatous grass away, deep-rooted plants that I couldn't pull out, like this wild sorrel here, stay and regrow, and plants that produce seeds resow themselves. So you really need to keep up with the upkeep. And this one, which I also made last year, is actually better in terms of weeds. For the most part, I don't see any weed, which is nice. An issue is that the soil is not well covered at all, so I need to add more mulch. And hopefully over time, we're gonna have a real carpet of strawberries, which keeps the soil sheltered from the sun. Although strawberries may not be the best choice as far as ground covers go. It's not dense enough. You need something very dense that will cover everything and keep your soil always shaded and humid. Here's an example. This is a creeping thyme, which is extremely good as a ground cover. It's very dense and it roots easily. Here's another very effective ground cover, oregano. Look how dense it is. You don't see the soil at all. And where there's no oregano, the soil is super dry. But if I put my fingers in there, it's cool and it's even slightly humid, despite the fact it hasn't rained in weeks. Now, you don't have to use a ground cover necessarily. This is an Artemisia. I cut it back to the stump every year, so it shoots back super densely. But yeah, in general, you want a ground cover. These barriers cause a major side effect. It becomes difficult for water to move through. It's like a big pot, basically. It dries up more easily. This is a blueberry, and it's not looking very good. The reason why it's not looking so good? Because we don't have a good ground cover in this zone. You can see the soil. Normally, in nature, you shouldn't be able to see the soil. You should have grasses, mosses, whatever, something growing on top to shelter the soil. This is marjoram, a close relative of oregano, and same thing, it's a great ground cover. Of course, one of the most useful reasons to put down root barriers is to prevent plants like raspberries from spreading. And yeah, I had raspberries here, over there. It was overwhelming. Now, they'll stay contained within their small areas. Though, you may need to go deeper for other plants. These are sunchokes. Overall, root barriers are good to keep suckering or rhizomatous plants out, but then you need to take into account the fact that without a proper ground cover layer, your soil will get very, very dry, and some of your more sensitive plants might not make it. So always keep that in mind. Okay, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next week in my Slice of Tropics. Goodbye!